say, okay, sync. It shows me where it found the sync point on each of the views. And I say sync. And now we have this little graph. And you can't see them, but there's actually 6 lines on there.
Okay.
And by going from camera to camera, it shows me where the sync point is. And what you're seeing, the little differences here are half frames. It's perfectly good. That's a really good sync.
Let me make a little statement here. If we didn't have the sync, then you will have to go to the trimmer and find an event which is the same, and it takes a long time.
Right.
Now, you can have also the noise automatic. You have, instead of clapping hands, you can have something that makes some sound.
Right.
Also, I used to have something with a flashlight that make a sound and light coming out. So in case something wrong with the sound, you always can synchronize, especially when you're outside on a golf course. You have also the golf course noise. Sometimes it will mix the sounds. So sometimes you want maybe a light, so you see a flashlight going in all the 6 cameras or 5 cameras, and then you can synchronize on event instead of synchronize on sound. But in the situation that Bob showed, the best thing is synchronization on sound. It's really quick, and it's already did it.
Right.
It saved here 1 hour for.
We also sometimes will throw a ball into the field, and when the ball hits the ground, that would be the sync point. It's another way to do it without the sound. So anyway, everything's good. We agree.
But this is by far the fastest way. I mean,
Oh yeah. For the stuff you're going to do in the
all,
lab.
all you're doing is you're clapping, what, 6 times?
No.
Not even 6 times?
1 time.
I clap once. That's all. And we have 6 cameras going, so each of the camera has to find that sync point. Now it did.
And it's able to do it by sound?
Yeah. And then it synchronizes each of the cameras now on that line.
Now, when you have a camera that's off a half frame or a frame, how does it?
Half frame is fine.
Okay.
If it's off a frame, you can actually fix it.
Do you have to do it manually, or
It'll do it manually, or you can do it manually here. Let's say, for example, over here. I put that on the thing, and I hold down the left.
just move it over.
I move it over. Yeah.
Okay, so
And it's a very good question, because sometimes the distance between the cameras and the computers are different, and the speed of sound.
Right.
So you might be off by a few milliseconds. But since every frame is 16 milliseconds, if you are not off by more than 16 milliseconds, it doesn't make a difference.
Right. Remember, we're collecting 30 frames of video, and then each frame has 2 fields. That's the way they structure it.
Right.
Interlace. So we separate that. So now we have 60 fields per second. So that's the frequency that we're analyzing, 60 per second. And that's more than adequate for human beings.
Right.
If we're doing a golf ball striking the club, then we need a high speed, because that's only on there for 3 milliseconds perhaps. So we agree that they're perfectly okay now. And even if they're not, if I have to go back and do it later by hand, I'm going to teach you how to do that as well.
Okay.
So we say okay, and watch what happens next. I say okay here, and it now saves camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, camera 5, camera 6. Now that's 5 seconds. If it was 30 seconds, it would take longer to save that video. Now the next thing I do is I always play the video to make sure that everything's good. So I just come up here like this, and I say play, and I hear the sound, and I watch, and everything should be moving synchronously. And everything's fine. And let's say now I'm going to close these. Let's say I want to come back and look at it again. I'm out of this program. I want to come back and check something. I say AVI, and then I go to the path, which happens to be the temp, and I find now I have 6 grad ones, which I know. So I click on the first one, and it says, okay, I'm going to bring up these 6, and there they are. So you can always return to them, and, revisit it.
The 6 grad ones, that's signifying 6 different cameras?
Yeah. 1, 2,
Not 6
3,
different
4,
sections.
5, 6. No, all in one session. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, good. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll start by doing a little 2D quick action study.
Okay.
And we'll do it from A to Z. And then as you understand that, we'll get more complicated.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to get the little calibration cube here. you something like this. You also get a big cube. It's 2 meters by 2 meters, I think.
Yeah.
And that's for the gate. But for little things, we want a little cube. But for 2D, we only need 4 points. So we have point 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? I didn't measure this exactly, but I'm going to say it's a foot. Doesn't matter.
Right.
So let's say that's 1 foot by 1 foot. So the first thing we have to do is we have to set up our calibration cube.
You're calling the cube, it's more of a rectangle.
It can be any shape, yeah.
Any shape as
Well,
well.
we call it, it's actually called a volume.
Okay.
You're right, cube is, it's more technical term. Okay, so, no, actually, we'll just go ahead and collect. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn these cameras off. See here? Press this little tab in, and we go to the off position.
Okay.
Off position. Off position. And we'll get this one here. Off position. Okay, so now we only have one camera view. I'm going to put it over here like this.
A lot of studies, like if you want just to measure the angle of how much he bent his back, or if you want to know just the angle of the elbow, if improving, you don't have to go through all the 6 cameras for a research project. Just do 2D, and if you compare it to the 3D, you see it's the same. If you are on the plane of motion.
Right.
The more complicated you get, the longer it takes. So you do things as simple, keep it simple, stupid is a rule. Okay, so now we go to CapDV. And click on the little setup. And, you know what I want to do before I do this? I'm going to open a new file so we're clean. I'm going to go to my computer. And I'm going to go to the D drive. And I'm going to open a new file. And we're going to call this bread.
Call bread 1, so in case we have another one, we'll have bread 2.
And back to the CapDV. Brad 1, temp file is, instead of the temp file, we're going to go to the Brad 1 file. Open. So now that's where the data will go. And the temp path is fine. And 5 seconds is fine. And we have 1 camera. And we're okay. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to do the calibration, so I'll go 0.5 seconds. Okay, Gideon, would you do the honors here and collect for me? Oh, no, Brad, you can.
No, go ahead.
Here,
What do you want
sit
to do?
down. When I say go, you simply just take this up to the red dot and click onto it.
Okay.
In fact, one view you can actually look like that if you want to too. All right, just like that. Now I need 2 things in order to do this. I need a fixed point that will always stay the same.
You don't have the calibration in the frame, in the picture, you know that.
I will.
Okay. No, it's still not.
I know. I'm going to put it.
Okay,
Here.
okay.
I'm going to. This is not good. I have to stick it to the wall. Fixed point, obviously, it has to be a fixed point. It's not going to move. So we'll stick it over here. Can you see the fixed point in the whole cube?
Yep.
Okay, ready, go.
Just hit OK.
Uh-huh. Did it collect?
Error locating.
Yeah, because it's 1 camera, yeah.
Oh, it can't sync if it's a
Oh,
camera.
yeah, I would have put that on me. That's okay. All right. No, you stay. And say OK. And now we save this to play that just to make sure. And tell you time down here.
Okay.
That's good. And then go back to the camera view. And this time change it to 5.